One of the highlights of our trip across France was Mont Saint-Michel. Mont Saint-Michel was on a river that separated Normandy from Brittany. And here we met some of the other correspondents. This is Bob Capper of Time magazine, and I know there's a member in the audience. And Bob Capper was eventually killed. He was covering the war in Indochina when the French was fighting. But at Mont Saint-Michel, we found the Poulard Hotel, run by Madame Poulard. And the reason we liked the place is she served some delicious omelets for which she was famous. And that's Madame Poulard and her famous hotel in the background. And a lot of the cousins gathered here to fight the war from this point at our main bases. This is a beautiful little island, and the building at the top is a monastery that was still intact. It was not destroyed at all. And here are some of our GIs looking over the sites of the monastery, being shown around by a woman guide. Soon we met some of the other correspondents we knew, and here we see Charles Collingwood, the gentleman on the right, with Helen Kirkpatrick of the Chicago Daily News, and Joe Liebling of New Yorker magazine, the bald-headed chap, and Wertenbecker on the extreme left. Liebling wrote many stories for New Yorker, died not many years ago. This is Charles Collingwood and Helen Kirkpatrick of the Chicago Daily News. This is Ernest Hemingway. Hemingway was covering for Collier's magazine, and we met him at, here he is seen talking with Bill Walton, who incidentally became a fast friend of President Kennedy. Would take a little time out to rest. There's Helen Kirkpatrick, and the man in the center in this picture is Bill Stringer, and he was killed trying to get into Paris. One of the things that correspondents tried to do was to get into Paris before anyone else, and he was hit by an 88 shell. But this is just a moment of relaxation. We had a few, and of course these are the wanted to bring home to the family and friends. But the little island was very quaint, and it was a very old place, but it was fortified in several ways. We discovered that the beaches in the area, especially when the tide was out, would be high and dry, and they put those sticks in sand to keep our planes from landing. We found a little family of 3 brothers, and even the tall blonde one was a boy, I found out later, because I had some interesting shots of the island from the seaside, because they have an extremely high tide here and would leave the island high and dry, but the tide would come in real fast, and there was always danger of quicksand, so I didn't stand in one place too long. But the receding waters left this unusual design in the sand. We didn't stay at Mont Saint-Michel very long, but continued on